So there is a wild and very heated, loud, passionate conversation going on the internet right now. It has people fairly divided and split on it, and it has to do with folks comparing Astro Bot to Mario. So of course, Astro Bot is a very hot topic right now because it is a recently released, very high profile game, very anticipated game, one of Sony's biggest highlights in what feels like a very long time. And look, I just finished and completed the game earlier this week, a few days ago, and I've got to tell you, it's one of the best games I've ever played. It's one of the best platformers, I think, of all time, one of the best games I've played in the past 20 years. I think it is damned near perfect. It is a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned, especially if you're a fan of the platforming genre, which I am. It is probably my favorite genre, whether you're talking 2D or 3D. Astro Bot does everything correct. One of the best parts about it, and something integral to the experience, if you've yet to play it, if you've been planning on playing it, if you've experienced it already, you need to make sure you are using every single function of the DualSense controller because it is game-changing in every possible definition of the word. Whether it's the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers, or the gyro, you really kind of need all three of those working in conjunction. It is a magical, euphoric experience. I adore this game. And so, of course, being a platformer fan, again, whether it's a 2D or a 3D experience, and also being a Nintendo fan means I love Mario. How can you not love Mario? I think if you're a gamer in any sense, you have to love and appreciate Mario. It is a series and a character that essentially laid the foundation for today's gaming industry. Without Super Mario Bros.' success on the original NES console back in, I think, '85 when that game came out, and again, I grew up playing games before there was an NES, so I remembered the revolution to the world that was Super Mario Bros. Without that game's success, the NES wouldn't have been a success, and without the NES's success, in a world where there was a game crash in 1983, we might not have ever had a revived video game industry. It might seem like a stretch on the surface, but if you actually track the course of everything that is the massive and successful gaming industry today, you can trace it back to the NES in 1985, and you needed Super Mario Bros. Itself to get people excited about playing video games in their home again back in the 80s. And so Mario is amazing. Astro Bot is amazing. They are two excellent examples of how to do platforming correctly. How to do it perfectly even. There's almost never been a bad Mario game. I don't care what anyone says about Super Mario Sunshine. I freaking love Super Mario Sunshine. And Astro Bot, again, I just raved about it. The game is almost a 10 out of 10. I would put it at a 9.8, 9.9. I think I reviewed it at a 9.8 when I kind of posted it, tweeted about it on Twitter, I should say, after I completed it a few days ago. They're great games. And so naturally, what does the internet do? What does Twitter do? What does YouTube do? What do weirdo gamers in 2024 do? They pit these two games and characters and franchises against each other. And so everyone is making comparisons between Mario and Astro Bot. A lot of them certainly make sense. I actually don't even think on the surface that there's anything wrong with talking about these two games' approach to platforming and gameplay. But there's a lot of people who are very, you could say, offended by this idea, or are overly defensive on whether or not you should or should not compare these games, or whether or not one is better than another. And I think it's really silly, kind of embarrassing. Everyone is loud and annoying about it, and so I kind of just want to yell, shut up. So look, here's what I'm going to say about Astro Bot when you talk about comparing it to Mario. There is no doubt that Astro Bot and Team Asobi, the developer behind the game, drew some serious and much needed inspiration from Mario as a character and as a series, and most especially my personal favorite Mario game of all time, Super Mario Galaxy. If you've played even one level of Astro Bot, you can feel the direct influence of Super Mario Galaxy in this game. And to me, it is nothing but a good thing. In every industry, in every type of medium or entertainment or art, People are standing on the shoulders of the giants before them. As somebody who is a professional working musician outside of having my own career and doing this YouTube channel for fun on the side, a lot of you know, I've been a heavy metal drummer and a musician and played in bands and live concerts, recording, touring for over 20 years. And as somebody who creatively is in the artistic world of music, I am telling you, everything I've ever done musically has been based on and predicated on a foundation laid by musicians and drummers before me. It's normal. Same if you're a filmmaker, same if you're an author, same if you're a video game developer, whatever you're doing, you're drawing that inspiration, even if it's not on purpose, even if it's a subconscious inspiration. That's what we do as humans. And in our form of artistic expression, as corny as it may sound to get this kind of deep about a video game, that's just what happens. So, Astro Bot, clearly drawing inspiration from one of the titans of the game industry and of the platforming genre, Super Mario. The game itself clearly drawing inspiration from one of the most successful and popular Mario games, Super Mario Galaxy. It's all normal, it's all good, it's all acceptable to me, and I think that drawing that inspiration from a game like that helped make Astro Bot the damned near perfect masterpiece that it is. And so, in my opinion, when you're going to talk about Astro Bot is so good because it's just like Mario, maybe you could even say it's better than Mario. I'm not going to lie. I think, and I tweeted about this as well, I think Astro Bot is the best. This is how good I think this game is, guys, as a Nintendo and a Mario super fan. I think Astro Bot is the best pure platformer since Super Mario Galaxy 2, which came out in 2010. So 14 years ago. That includes other Mario games that have come since. I'm talking Super Mario Odyssey, new Super Mario Brothers games, Mario 3D World, Mario Wonder, all games that I think are absolutely spectacular and wonderful. Astro Bot, to me, I do think is a better executed, more fun game than all of those. You have to literally go back to the Super Mario Galaxy series, again, in my personal opinion, to find a game that matches Astro Bot's quality. That's not meant to be a negative statement towards those other games. It's only meant to be that high of a praise to what Astro Bot achieved. It is literally a reason to spend $500 on a PlayStation 5, in my opinion. But why are some people, I should say, so mad about the fact that people are comparing Astro Bot to Super Mario? Or some people are saying Astro Bot needs to teach Mario lessons. Maybe Mario should learn lessons from Astro Bot in the future. The reason people are so mad, we all know this, guys, is because video game fans are sometimes really defensive. They're very, sometimes soft, they're very weak-willed, and sometimes they're just easily offended. And if I'm being honest, I think we know some of the biggest offenders out there in this kind of community and fandom of being game fans are my fellow Nintendo fans. Again, I am one of you. We are all one and the same if we're big, super huge Nintendo fans. But I think that sometimes the biggest offenders I see of the kind of overly defensive attitudes in the world of gaming, I do see coming from really diehard Nintendo fans. Now, that's true from any company or any platform. You know, no one is free from this. But in this conversation, I think we need to focus on this part. Some people love Nintendo or love Mario to such an unhealthy degree that they can't see something as simple as a comparison to an absolutely spectacular game like Astro Bot as anything other than a front to their favorite company, their favorite mascot, or their own personal fanship or their identity. Because sometimes we can be guilty of making our love of Mario or Nintendo or a video game console as part of our identity. And I think that that becomes a very unhealthy relationship. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir because more than likely, most of you who watch me and listen to me and watch this channel, you probably already know this is true and you've seen evidence of it yourself. So I'm just here to say normal comparisons between Mario and Astro Bot are completely acceptable. They're not harmful, they're not insulting, they're not meant to offend you. People who are maybe spouting weird, overly abstract rhetoric about this might be trying to get a rise out of you, and that's, of course, different. It's pretty easy to identify the people who are just spouting bullshit to get a rise out of people, and people just making genuine comparisons. Even some YouTube videos out there talking about it, whether they're more pro Mario over Astro Bot or more pro Astro Bot over Mario. I think that there's a lot of healthy conversations in videos I've seen making these comparisons. Even people who say maybe Astro Bot is better than Mario or whatever, stuff I wouldn't agree with. I think there are some good faith arguments being made out there as well. And so we're only meant to listen to this stuff and just soak it in, hear people's different perspective and opinions, and just allow it to color how we feel about it. But still, you should know how you feel about these two games or franchises. So that stuff is meant to be normal. How do I feel about this? You've kind of heard me say it. I think both franchises are amazing. I think all these games are incredible. All the Mario platforming games, 2D and 3D, and Astro Bot. I think that they're all fantastic. Now, did Astro Bot learn lessons from Mario? And I should say, did Team Asobi learn lessons from Mario and Mario Galaxy specifically to make the game so good? I certainly see so. I see a lot of Mario's DNA in the game. I don't think that's negative statement towards Astro Bot in any way. I don't think it holds the game back from being almost a 10 out of 10, but I do think it's true. The influence is clearly there, and it made an amazing game and an amazing product. But do I think that maybe Mario needs to now learn some lessons from Astro Bot, like some folks out there have claimed? Honestly, no. I don't think Astro Bot did anything game-changing or revolutionary. I just think it executed incredible Mario-like platforming ideas perfectly. So no, I don't see Astro Bot having any kind of a gameplay influence on Mario going forward. But again, as if I'm repeating myself so many times in this video, I don't think that's a bad thing either. And I know some folks have made some statements or some claims or some videos claiming that Mario needs to draw inspiration from Astro Bot. I don't mind those statements. I've heard and watched some of those statements, and I actually think they're fine. There are some good points brought up that I've seen from a few people on this topic. I don't really think it's true or agree with it, but I'm not bothered by it because all we're talking about are amazing games across the board. Every single game I held up to the camera to you at the beginning of this video are amazing. So there's nothing bad we can say about any of them. The ultimate point of this video and this topic and discussion for me is to tell everyone to just calm the hell down, chill the hell out, let great games be great games. Mario can be great, and in the same breath, Astro Bot can be great. One can influence the other, and it's fine, and it doesn't mean anyone is doing anything wrong. Astro Bot can learn influences and lessons from Mario, and maybe Mario does learn lessons from Astro Bot. I don't know what they would be because I don't think it's going to happen, but it can be a statement that somebody says or believes, and it's a totally fine, harmless thing. No one needs to get up in arms and poop in their pants over statements and opinions like these, provided they're the normal good faith statements, and like I said, not the weirdos online who are literally trying to make you upset, okay? Don't fall victim to the people trying to get you pissed off, because then you just play right into their hands. Look, man, when it comes to Mario, the next Mario game that's being made and probably going to be releasing on the Switch 2 next year is going to be so far in development that there's no time for Astro Bot to even have any kind of influence on that game, right? So everyone, like I said, just calm the shit down. Just relax and let these great games be great games. Mario's fantastic. Astro Bot is a masterpiece. Play them all, love them all, and let's just wait for the next great game whenever it releases.